Is the mic on?
Yo. If I'm being honest, I thought we wouldn't get something new and unique from the superhero genre for a long time, given the fact that Marvel and DC are the leading parties. Every now and then they turn things around and make something new, but for the most part, a lot of that content has been pretty bland lately. Invincible is incredibly refreshing. I know I'm late on this review, but I was not planning on watching this show at first. After I saw all the hype and memes about it, I was ready to give it a shot. This show does not disappoint. There's a lot of spoilers in this show, but I'm gonna try my best to work around those because I really want people to check it out. I had it spoiled for me by all the other fuckers like me on YouTube, and yet this show still had me shocked. The very first episode is the most important thing because it drives the entire plot. The first episode kinda gave me a Young Justice vibe. The animation style is very similar to DC's animation. As much as I love the animated DC movies and shows, I felt like this show took one step further in terms of being a little more exciting. When you start episode 1, it's gonna feel like you're watching an episode of Justice League. The characters you see were clearly written to mimic the Justice League. The majority of the first episode is a character introduction that gets straight to the point. The world that our main character Mark lives in is very much like the world of DC, and his dad is basically Superman. This is very tame until you reach the very end of the episode. In order to give this show a chance, you have to watch the entire first episode. I promise you, it will get your nipples hard. Even without the ending, I was still impressed. It actually has a lot of personality and entertaining fight sequences. The music selection was really good and never felt annoyingly mainstream. I hate when every superhero movie tries to be Guardians of the Galaxy. I also felt like each character was written very well. They all stand out amongst each other and never feel bland. Speaking of the characters, I like that they spent a lot of money on voice actors. Steven Yeun, I think I'm saying his name right. So basically Glenn from The Walking Dead does an amazing job voicing Mark. He puts a lot of emotion into each scene and gives us the type of acting that you'd get from a live action show. I really enjoyed all the voice actors in general. Almost every character that's introduced is probably played by someone you know. Even Seth Rogen had a small part in this show, and it wasn't entirely for comedic effect. I usually hate when shows and movies cram in a bunch of A-list actors, but for an animated show, I feel like it's okay because you still feel like you're introduced to new people but with familiar voices. I mean, they have J. Jonah Jameson playing J. Jonah Jameson. You can't argue with that. This is a great show to introduce to your friends just to see their reaction to the very first episode. I've already shown the first episode to a couple people, and I'll probably show it to more. If you haven't seen this show, watch the first episode and tell me what you think, because I'd love to hear your input. I don't recommend you just look up the final scene of the first episode because I feel like that would take away the impact of it. I think my favorite thing about Invincible, besides how fucking dark and brutal it is, would be the way it reverts your expectations. It completely twists all the comic book tropes. You kinda have to at this point because superhero content has become pretty predictable. Just about every scene in this show that seems predictable is flipped around. The writers did not miss a spot, and for that I am very grateful. The story around Mark is very similar to Spider-Man's in a sense that he's just a teenager that has to hold the weight of the world. He's still trying to figure things out while learning just how strong he is. And I like the fact that he's called Invincible because he doesn't really seem all that invincible. I don't know, to me the show almost feels like a combination of Spider-Man and a little bit of Kick-Ass. One other thing that I absolutely love is just how much the tone shifts throughout each episode. Even the title screen gets consistently bloodier with each episode. It's shit like that that makes me so happy. It's something I absolutely loved about the Harry Potter movies. I love when a series actually addresses the change in tone and consistently tries to go even darker with it. Honestly, my only nitpick with this show would be the clone guys. They were cool at first, but they didn't exactly add much to the main plot of the story. All the other side plots I was fine with because they actually involved Invincible, and I feel that they could lead to great heroic adventures for future seasons. But overall, I think this is a spectacular show, and I was happy that each episode had a 45-minute runtime. So, as you can see, I really didn't have anything negative to say about this show besides the clone thing. I highly recommend that you check out Season 1 of Invincible. Even though the superhero stuff has been drawn out quite a bit lately, this show delivers. There's no woke bullshit and there's no comedic relief thrown into the serious scenes. Invincible is something completely new and original. That's why I'd give Season 1 a 9 out of 10. Go watch it, this shit's amazing. So yeah, bye!